Hi, Gregory. How are you? And he, now I can.
And I can hear. Oh, good day again.
Good day.
It's a busy day.
Yes, well, it's not so busy sitting here.
Okay. You changed rooms.
No, the same room, I think, on the evening light, I guess.
Oh, okay.
All right, I was sitting in another room. No, I was in the same chair, same room, same sitting.
You know, that was quite a class this morning. It was, I didn't get it. I reserved my comments because of the other people have already made them, but if I can even encapsulate what you actually said this morning, where it's almost like we go in those little tiny particles that maybe don't have a mind, and then all of a sudden they expand outward. It was almost like the universe was like, here we are looking at this large universe from that small little particle. So we're inside out. It's interesting how the mind can flop inside and out, trying to grasp both the matter and the spiritual at the same time. But it does expand the consciousness in the process of trying to do that. Yeah, this is a beautiful class. Beautiful.
Very nice. Very nice.
I tried to record it, and I don't know where it went. If you have a chance to send that back to me in any way, I'd love to have that one.
Sure. Yeah, it's recorded and it's put into our file. Yes, where you can.
Okay.
Very good. Hi, Julia. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Penny.
Julie. Hi, Lynn.
Hi. Recording?
Hi, Vladimir.
Hi. Yes, we can have recording. It's easy to do. Whoever wants to record. Okay, let us start with mantra. Om Vang me manasi pratishthitam mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirmaedhi vedasyama anisthaha shrutam me ma prahasihi anena dhitena horatram samdadham ritam vadishyami satyam vadishyami tanmamavatho tadvaktaramavato avatu mam avatu vaktaram avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, today we have a new hymn. It's from second mandala. So the first mandala has only one, basically only one hymn to Savitar. Maybe change earphones. So first mandala has one more hymn. To Surya by Kutsan Girasa, but not to Savitar. And Savitar is only in the second mandala. So first mandala has only one hymn to Savitar by that Rishi Hiranya Stupan Girasa, what we read last time. And now we are moving into another second mandala, which is considered to be the oldest, most probably, of all mandalas, where there is Gritsamada, Rishi Gritsamada Bhargava. He belongs to Bhrigu, family. Yeah, and I was telling you about these two families of Angirasa and Bhargavas, which is very mysterious set of rishis, two different families. Bhargavas are ancient family. They belong to Bhrigu, to those, Shubinu says, rays of the sun. Yeah? And Angiras are flames of Agni. So there is something very mysterious about these two sets of rishis. The Bhargavas belong to this Purva Rishayaha, to these ancient rishis, whereas Angirasas belong to the Nutana, to the modern rishis. And these Angirasa rishis with Brihaspati and Indra, they discovered the divine within their heart, whereas Bhargavas were following the ancient ritual of sacrifice, of offering the nature by the means of nature. So they knew about the fire, but as the energy within the nature. So by the energy within the nature, you can make a transformation or sacrifice. That's why the bodies were sacrificed. That's why we have animal sacrifices. We have all those, sacrifices offering to fire the body. We have Ashwamedha, we have Purusha Medha, we have all kinds of sacrifices to the fire. And this was the ancient way, by offering everything you are to the divine. But then there was a discovery made, and the Soma sacrifice itself is of this ancient type of ritual. But then later there was a discovery made by the rishis that there is a divine within the heart, and you can offer everything to that divine without sacrificing your body, without sacrificing your nature. And here in this, you can see Rishi Gritsamada, and then you have Angirasa Shauna Hotra Paschat. And Angirasa Shauna Hotra Paschat, though it is Bhargava, belongs to the ancient rishis, but they become Angirasa afterwards. That means the discovery and becoming Angiras, becoming the flame within the heart, becomes later, becomes prominent later. And I already mentioned to you that somebody asked the mother whether Vedic rishis knew about the divine hidden in the heart as our soul. She said, no, they didn't know, but they discovered it. And that actually clarifies a lot. There was a discovery made. And that was a shift in the cult, from the cult of offering the nature to the divine, to the cult of offering the soul to the divine, love. And we spoke about it quite a bit. So here we are dealing with ancient sacrificial ritual. Let us look into this text. Udushya deva savita savaya shashvattamam tadapa vahnir asthat nunam devebhyo vihidhati ratnam atha bhajat viti hotram suasta vishvasya hi shrushtaye deva urdvah prabhava Prithupanih sisarti apaschid asya vrata nimrigra ayam chidvato ramate parijman ashubhishchit yan vimuchati nunam ariramat atamanam chid eto Ahyarsунam Chinyayan Avishyam Anuvratam Savitur Moki Agat. This is such a profound ancient language. All words are met only in this hymn. If you look into the translations I put here, dictionary, you can see that, just for your observation, tadapas meto in this hymn. It is, clarified by Red. Nimrigra met only in this hymn, only once. 238, 2, that's in the second. In the number 3, we have Yarshu met only once here in this. Moki met only here once. Avishya met only here once. So all these words you will not meet in any other literature afterwards. Only in these, in the Rig Veda, in this hymn only. So this becomes it tells us how ancient it is. Yeah? That even Sanskrit afterwards could not follow it. So it's often the case with the Rig Veda that there is always in the hymn 1 or 2 words at least, sometimes many more, which are met only in that hymn. Okay, let us go through the text. Stood up this god Savitar to move things upward. Ud Asthat. Ud Asthat, he stood up. Look how language is being used. For those who study Sanskrit, it's quite interesting that the prefix is first and Asthat word, the verb, is last. And in between we have all other words. So prefix stands first and verb last in the line, and in between all other words. So we can translate in such a way, up, yeah? God Savitar stood, or something like that. Stood up, this God Savitar, to move things upward. Most constant work he does, carrying all to summits. Thus holds he wide indeed the treasure for the gods, making the power of moment shared by all in their well-being. And let us go word by word, it will help. Ud ushya devach. Ud up, indeed, sya devach, this or that god, Savitar. Shya is this pronoun, Vedic pronoun, same as Saha on the Syaha. Udu Shya Deva Savitar, indeed that god Savitar, Savaya, to literally dative from Sava. Sava is a pressing out, to press out or to manifest. Shashvatamam. The most internal or the most constant apas, tadapas, that work. The most constant work, vahnir, carrying, asthat, stood. He stood up to carrying the most ancient or the most constant work to manifest things. Savaya. It's from this root su, from which Savitar is also produced, yeah? To manifest, to press out. He's pressing out of the divine being the forms of manifestation. Thus holds he wide indeed the treasure for the gods. Nunam, today, Devebhyah, for the gods. Vihidhati Ratnam, he holds indeed vast, in a vast manner. He is an emphatic particle. Vi, vastly indeed, Dhati holds Ratnam, the treasure. Atha Bhajat, and thus he distributes or shares or shared Viti Hotram. He shared this movement, Viti, or the power of movement, Suastao, in the well-being. So in the well-being, he shares this vast movement and establishes the wealth, Ratnam, spiritual wealth for the gods, for the divine powers, which are involved in this creation. So he's basically redistributes for them their divine value. He gives them, or how to say, not gives, but establishes for them their own divine value, Ratnam. Savitar is called Vahni, the carrier, from the root Vah, to carry. Agni, Indra, and Maruts are also called Vahni, for they carry the being to the summit of its consciousness. He also has the treasure for the gods. They all want to have that treasure, the treasure of the Supreme Being and consciousness. And the power that moves all towards it is distributed by him among all in their well-being. In other words, when the manifestation of the divine fully takes place, it will be in the form of well-being of all. So being of the supramental Godhead, Savitar actually manifests that very supramental world in this time and space. And that's why Savaya, for this kind of distilling or pressing out or putting it into the time and space, continuum. He puts them into particular context. And from here his name comes into being. He is the distiller, or the presser, or the one who manifests, compels things to reveal themselves in time and space. Basically, he puts them into this narrow context of time and space from their vast origin, from their vast foundation of light. And that's why night is so important. He does it in the night. Night will be the manifesting power. And we will come to it again in the Zim. Night will be next mentioned as the one into which he will put all his light. She will be again manifesting his work here in her own way. Does it make sense, or I'm kind of carried away? I'm anticipating too many things, I guess.
Question. In the comments there, you have Savitar as Vani, and the other gods are also called Vani, but do they distribute the treasure in the same way, or is that only Savitar?
Well, that is a question, right? I'm not sure how to even answer that. Since he gives all these godheads represent the supreme acting here within manifestation in some way or another. Savitar is their supreme, so to say, power, yes, which gives them their own powers to do things. So they are kind of secondary in command, if you will, and they do his work. All here do his work. There is nobody here who doesn't do his work. So he assigned them certain activities. But they're called Vahnis because they carry the consciousness forward or upward. When they do this, they are all called Vahnis. It's kind of interesting. Or they are all called Vasus when they are engaged in the in this sacrifice. Indra, Agni, and Maruts, they will be called Vasus, because Vasu means the luminous dweller within the substance, and Vahani means carrier. And when this function becomes prominent, then gods are called Vahanis. When they are manifesting in the physical nature, they are called Vasus. You will see this regularity. Veda is very regular with using terms. There is nothing approximate here. It's not a poetic text to satisfy some kind of, aesthetic feeling. It is much more utilitarian in terms of spiritual precision. Sri Aurobindo says that Vedic rishis are highly utilitarian in spiritual sense. They will be very precise with words. But I do not know the answer to your question, yes or no. I would say that, of course, they do his work, and in that sense, they will be the distributors. But he assigns them to do this. Savitar, in my understanding of today, belongs to this supramental overmind, the first outburst of the supermind into time and space. When the time and space becomes a foundation or something, or the place, the darkness, the night becomes the context or the environment in which the light will manifest. Then Savitar becomes prominent. And that's why his name is from root su, to compel, to propel, to push forward, or to press out. He is pressing not even out of the divine light of the sun, the rays of the sun into the darkness. He is pressing them out, but he is also pressing them into the darkness. He is making those rays of light reach out, leap out into the darkness. And that is his name. Does it make sense? That why he's Savitar. I'm speaking there most probably something far, something which you would not agree. Maybe you never heard of this, but if you analyze the word Savitar, Savaya, or the Savana, what really it means? Let us open the dictionary. Since you don't make any comment, then I wonder what you think about it.
Time for a Sanskrit lesson.
Right. Oh, okay, I don't have dictionary here to show you. Okay, forget about it. Where is it? Here it is. It's my new computer. Okay.
I'm going to send you an email to remind you to put your dictionary on your new computer.
I put it, but somehow it doesn't work, and I don't know what to do to make it work yet. I was preparing myself, yes, for this, but it didn't work out. All right, so it is him, this Savitar, who presses out of the divine truth the rays of that divine truth and puts them into the context of time and space. He does it constantly. He carries out all the works, all that transcendental work, which is the work of Vijnana. Yes? In Taittiriya it will be said that Vijnanam yajñam tanute karmani tanute picha vijnanam devaha sarve brahma jyeshtham upasate. So Vijnana, the supermind, is the doer of all the works, where the spirit Brahman is the best or the most prominent. So all the actions are coming from the sun. And here it is visible. He is constantly doing work, carrying it and getting, so to say, he is rising and bringing all the activities into the manifestation, because he is the one who is pressing them out, manifesting them in time and space or in darkness, and distributes this movement, viti hotram, for the well-being of all. And that is his major function as a supramental force. Well-being of all. Vishvasya hi shrushtaya deva urdhvav prabhava prithupani sisarti apashidasya vrata animrigra ayam chidvato ramate parijman. Standing high for all to hear, Shrushthaye, and follow his command. He stretches his arms forward, Prabhava, Prithupani, having broad arms, he stretches them forward, Prasisarti. And these arms are very important. We will see later he does with his arms many things. He actually acts by his arms. Somebody wants...
Question?
Yeah.
Yes. So you talked about Savitar before dawn. What about after dusk?
Right. After, you mean in the night?
Correct.
Where does he go? Yes. What happens?
Or the actions at sunset.
Yeah. It is his night which is taking his work. We will see in the third verse, there will be very interesting, maybe answer to your question. At least partially there will be answer there. What is happening to his work and what is his relation with the night which is coming. Maybe.
Thank you.
So, Vishvasya hi shrushtaya deva urdhva, standing high for all to hear and follow his command. He stretches his arms forwards, having broad arms. The cosmic waters, apachid, are devoted, attached to his ways of action. Asyavrata nimrigra. And the cosmic life force, Vata, rests in his law in a whirling circle, Parijman, as if kind of coiled inside him, rests within him. And this is also a very interesting, profound vision of where this life force is coming later. What is this actually? Prana, where does it come from? It comes from within that supramental force, which is coiled within him. So let us go word by word. Vishvasya hi shrushthaye. Shrushthaye, shrushti, to hear and to obey of everyone. Deva, the God, Urdhva, high, Prabhava, forward his arms, Prithupani, with vast arms, Sisarti, stretches. Apah chit asya, and his apas, his waters, or his cosmic waters. Asya vrata, his law, animrigra, following or tied to his water, attached to his action, to his way of acting. Asya vrate animrigra. They are within his law of action. The movement of the cosmic waters are tied to his action, to his law. I am Chitvata, and this life force, Ramate, is rejoicing or resting, Parijman, coiled within him. What a mysterious vision.
I'm kind of interested in that law, in that into his law.
Right.
Could we kind of dig in there a little bit?
Vrata. Vrata is again another word which from root vartate, yes, to rotate. It is a law is something, the ways by which things are done habitually. The rotation, the repetition, the rhythm, the formation, which is in itself. Why rotation? Because it kind of encircles or fulfills the whole cycle, finishes the whole from the beginning till the end. There is everything within it. So this is the way how things are done. So maybe we're not asking about that, but etymologically it's quite interesting why it is a law, because it is connected to this encircling or starting and finishing point where it can repeat itself again and again. So this is vrata.
So any cycles then, even the tiny little ones to the cosmic cycles, would all fall within this purview.
Right, correct. And this also parijman, coiled within this kind of again this kind of cycle. It's always kind of maybe even they mean even the disc, or this is the round shape of the disc.
Whenever I hear law, the first thing I think of is karma, because that's the underlying law of this manifestation. I wonder if that's implied here.
Could be. Could be that even karma is based on this rotation, because what is karma? If karma produces consequences, yes, that means that you start and you come to certain, point where it makes sense, yeah. So everything is kind of within the circle, encircled, and that's why it makes sense. Everything is one. It's a holographic picture of the world where everything is encircled and makes sense.
Or not.
Or not, because we don't see that, how it is encircled. That's why we are looking for it. And once we see it as one, that's why we are coming to the Veda. We want to see that big vrata, the law of existence, where all things make sense.
Vlad, I just want to say how fascinated I am with this particular verse, because I really like what Julia was saying about karma, and it seems to me that when you were reading this and we were looking at it, I was thinking of the way that everything is made in this way, that this idea of the whirling circle, of course, is the way that everything works, as Julie was saying, from the atom to our solar system to the galaxy, that everything is made in this way, and that we see this in the way that shells are made, the way that plants are made in this whirling circle. And I was hearing something on NPR of a man who was talking about the divinity in tides and how that one could see God by studying. This was his view, and that tides themselves are actually a wave that moves at 400 miles an hour across the ocean. And with this, when I see here the cosmic waters, I started thinking of the way that everything, all of the forces, the gravitational force and the strong and weak force, and these different forces that Western scientists have identified, it seems that's what the cosmic waters are, the movement of those, if you will, forces, or those tides that constantly keep everything moving. But that the law, that this force is something that always is in a circle, and it's both literal in what we see and also subtle in what Julie was talking about in terms of time and karma. And I think in Jyotish especially, thinking about time and the way things are cyclical. I just thought it was beautiful.
Well, anytime is pursuant to that, anytime I hear the word law, then I immediately start asking about justice. And in this, what goes around comes around kind of whirling circle. And that's what kind of made me inquire about this law in terms of karma and cosmic force. So I just, that where Stephen kind of saw the tides, I was asking whether Savitar had any connection as was kind of in my mind implied in this, to the notion of justice.
I just wanted to add something to Stephen's beautiful thoughts and of the Pinde of the womb. So within the cosmic waters of the womb, it's well known that the embryo is folded in a sort of circular thing, that embryonic position, and constantly whirling. It's constantly moving and whirling as a kind of Pinde to the Brahmande.
The beauty of this, that all waters are following his rotating law, devoted to his, attached to his ways of action. The waters, the cosmic waters, that very substance which can be shaped into any shape, into any form, the substance of the being, is moving with him, with his force. All those forces, positive, negative, gravitation, all of them cause this kind of substance to shape. They all follow his law. There is somebody there, or something is there which makes this movement possible. And even life force is coiled within him.
And of course, the overall projection and withdrawal of the cosmic consciousness.
Right. So he is the supreme, the transcendental, supramental Godhead who manifests everything in this night, moves, returns to himself over the regions of night. Okay, we will take one now. There's another one which will explain also a very interesting thing, I think. That was the question which I had. Ashubhih chid Yan vimuchati nunam ariramat atamanam chid etoch ahyarshunam chinyayan avishyam anuvratam saviturmoki agat. Here she comes, the night, in accordance with his law, according to his movement. Even though he is moving by the fast steeds, Ashubhich, now he sets them free. Yan vimuchati nunam, whom he sets free, even he made the moving thing rest in its movement. Ariramat, he makes it. Atamanam, Ataman is the one who is moving. The moving one he makes rest. Chid etoch, in its movement. It's a profound, already philosophical concept. Even he came down to the desire of those who move with the python. Ahyarshunam chid nyayana vishyam. And the night followed the Savitar's will and the way of his action. Anuvratam saviturmoki agat. So much is being said in one verse. Rigveda is very rich in meaning. There are hardly verses which are meaningless. They are all packed with visions and meanings. And to really unpack them takes time and dwelling. Even though he moves by the fast steeds, now he sets them free. Even he made the moving thing rest in its movement. Moving by with the fast ones, he can release them in his supreme stillness at once. In this moment of his eternal time, Nunam, being in the motion, it could stay immobile. This was always a question for me. How come that everything is immobile and at the same time in a constant movement? He has descended to the bottom of the python's desire. At the bottom of things there is a python, this coiling down and narrowing down the force and consciousness to the minutest separated way of being. And the night followed Savitar's way of action. Because Savitar has reached the bottom of that which is desired by the forces of the python, the night is following his way of action. It is not in this verse that the answer will be given to your question, Vijay, but in the next one, I think there will be one more verse which will be explaining how night works.
Question.
Yeah.
Can we spend a little bit of time on that vocabulary section there for this one, the blue
Sure.
text? Because I'm curious about where he has the words that you said they're unique, and so I wanted to look at some of those. Just a quick note, for instance, the python. What word is he using for python?
Yeah. Ahi arshu. So gliding or shooting like a snake. Ahi is a python. Um, this is the word which is used for vritra. Ahi is also from ang root, to narrow down. Yes, anhas, from here narrowed, very narrow state of consciousness. Because it is coiling, the ahi is actually pressing and narrowing down consciousness, or being even. And in that sense, it is ahi. The
I
snake.
thought an ahi was a cobra.
No, no cobra. Ahi is a python, first of all. And then, for that matter, any snake.
Python typically strangles or strangulates its prey.
Yeah,
Well, the narrowing down, it squeezes.
exactly. It squeezes out to all the consciousness. There's nothing left. At the bottom of things, there is this python. Some of you may have this experience in your life. If you did ever go down into, with your higher consciousness, into the lower, if you had an opportunity to go there down, you could see there the being, or feel at least its presence, which is like a python, very scary. By the way, when Indra saw that python there, he was terrified. He ran away. Maybe we will read in some hymns to Indra how he got scared and ran away from that python when he saw that being or felt its presence. It's a very powerful presence. So when Savitar reaches out down to that bottom of things, then he establishes this connection, and the night follows him. It's a kind of yes, and how she follows him. Yeah, here there are avishya, another word for desire, and moki, a release, a night, which is used. It is given in Nirukta, the translation, but moki is from root much, yeah, the releaser, the one who releases the light, or releases the tension, or introduces the gap into the intensity of our concentration. Moki, that's most probably the understanding of it. And avishya, I have no idea. It's from root av, the growth, the desire, the ardor. This is the intensity of growth. When he reaches to that intensity of growth of that python below, yeah, that's what it is being said. Arshunam. Arshunam from root arish, to move. Ahi arshunam chidni ayan avishyam. When he reaches to the power which is growing, which wants to grow there, sliding out of python, as it were. The releaser, the night, follows his way of acting.
It's implying that he's releasing night from that insentient.
Yeah, sorry, it reconnected. Yes, what you were saying, say it again, Penny.
I'm just trying to piece what I thought I heard you say. So is the idea here that by following the will of Savitar, night itself is released from the inconscient pythonness?
This I was not thinking of. That is a very interesting idea. She is Moki, she is a releaser, but what she releases, I thought she releases this the light which he brings into manifestation. We have to look into the next, and it will give us an idea what she is releasing, and it would be the answer to Vijay's question. I will read it, even if we come back to it later to reread it again. I would like to stop here at this one. Punah sam avyad vitatam vayanti madhyakartoh ni adhat shak madhirah utsamha yasthad viretun adardhar aramatih savita deva agat. What was spread out in the vast by Savitar, she, the night, weaves again anew, revealing all. The powerful and wise Savitar leaves his work in the middle, half done, for her to accomplish. Having arisen, he stood up, holding the seasons apart of sacrificial year seasons. Savitar, the god, came to us with his mind full of luminous rays. It is a very mysterious statement. What was created spread, Vitatam by Savitar, the night, which is clear from the previous verse, because it is she there and she is here in the feminine gender, is weaving again totally afresh and new. And Savitar, skillful, thoughtful Dhirach, leaves his action, Shakma, his potential action, from root Shak, to be able, undone, in the middle of his work, not finished, finishing half of his work. He is leaving his work for her to finish, whereas she is reweaving it again, all what he has done, and completing the other half, what he did not complete. The meaning of this verse is profound. The night is the doer, the executive power of all his beginnings. It can be seen as the first imagery of the concept of Purusha and Prakriti in the later post-Vedic literature, where Purusha is seen as Anumanta, the sanctioner, and Prakriti as executrix. This verse is showing the importance of the work of the night in the manifestation of the divine. She is revealing afresh all what was spread by Savitar. She is rearranging, as it were, arranging and rearranging all the light and power and bliss which he spreads out for her to manifest. It also shows a deeper relation of the Lord and spouse than that of Purusha and Prakriti in Sankhyayic paradigm, where Purusha is only Sakshi, a witness. He is also Anumanta and Ishvara, as Sri Aurobindo explains it in his version. And this is also an important addition to see them as related. That relation or sanction which Savitar gives for her to work with. He becomes the lord of that Prakriti. This is the tantric vision. All right, so here we have something very special, that we understand finally why night is there and what she is really doing. So if we go word by word, we could see more of it, of course. Punach again, Samavyat, she is totally weaving. Vitatam, which was spread. Vayanti, weaving. She kind of rearranges with the spread, reweaving, madhyakartoch, in the middle, the work, ni adhat, shatmadhirach, which he, the wise, left for her to do, ni adhat, has established there. Utsamha yasthat viritun adardhar, and samha, and having left or abandoned samhaya, he stood up, viritun adardhar, holding separately the seasons of the year. Aramatich, look at this word, aramatich, the mind full of rays, mind with the ara, with the rays of light, savita, deva, agat, and the savitar, with the mind full of light, or rays of light, came to us. Okay, we can stop here for today, and then we will restart again, because there will be a development of this hymn. So if you have something to share or to say, please, you can.
Just that this is just so beautiful, Vladimir. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and it is concrete, it's not just abstraction. It's a concrete abstraction of something.
I was going to pitch that while Savitar is expanding the rays without the night, rather than reweaving, I was thinking more it's an integrating. It's a time, so rest is required, silence is required in order to integrate the expansion that comes from action, that comes from light, the expansion out, and then the rest or the reweaving or the integrating time from the silence of night. A requirement for evolution, rest and action.
Yes, very nice.
But it also seems maybe, I'm not remembering it quite right, that there is a kind of reprojection or refashioning of the light. So it doesn't only seem to be rest, but it seems to be even reformatting.
Yes, rebooting in the terms of the night. The night is doing something fundamental. Yeah? It manifests the intrusion of light in a new fashion. It creates a new way of existence or being here by reweaving. Reweaving means that night itself becomes a carrier of light in a new way. That's important message of it. Yeah? It's not just that light enters the night and stays in the same way. No, the light enters and then it is captured by the night and refashioned in a new way. It's no more the same light, as it were. It's the light which is recaptured by the night, rearranged into a new being. There is something profound here.
Vlad, I'm curious about the resting part, because I'm not remembering what came up above, but in the moment, my thought was that the rest had to do with, that the stillness had to do with what we can call pure awareness.
Mm.
And that the movement is the manifestation, but the rest could it be interpreted as the just the awareness at large?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in this verse, in the number 3. Yes, even he made the moving thing rest in its movement. Yeah, there is a self-awareness of every moving thing. Yeah? And that is the steady part of it. It is aware of itself. The self is present, and the self is not moving. Right. No, it's charged with meaning. I would encourage you to maybe to come to this text and rethink it again and again and dwell on it. We have to dwell on each verse longer, and it opens up more and more the meanings. It's very paradoxically built, you see. It cannot be reconciled easily in the mind. So there are many ways of opening up to this knowledge. It's very productive and can create in our mind a vision. All right. Okay, beautiful. So
One more question. This is more of a linguistic question because it's my beginning or intermediate Sanskrit has mostly been with more classical Sanskrit. But as far as the style of these shlokas, I'm noticing that they do. Is it my imagination, or do they seem more concrete and direct than you might find in classical?
of course, absolutely. This I agree immediately. This is much more concrete language and even more simplistic in some way, because it doesn't go into the conceptualization. It stays concrete and very vivid. All the words are powerful actions rather than concepts. And it's not a conceptual language in pure sense. It's not a purely mental, vision. It's much more. It has Rishi is, really working on the word to find that most, potent expression which could carry the meaning. Yeah, I am totally agreeing with you. For me, there is no, I cannot compare the Vedic text to any of later literature. Even great Upanishads, even Gita, which I'm so fond of. But when I come to the Veda, it's absolutely something else, altogether another level. I don't know what it is, poetry, maybe it's because it is poetic. But what kind of poetry? If you read it yourself again and again, you will feel word by word that you will get this sense, how Rishi is choosing words. They are all active.
It is vivid. Vivid.
Vivid, concrete, powerful, simple, in its place. Everything is interwoven into one kind of action of consciousness, which is not conceptual. It's rather experiential or something. Anyhow, very nice. Thank you for these comments. All right, so I will end with the mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti. All right. Okay, thank you, and see you then next time.
Thank you so much, Vladimir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Vladimir.